Hey, good morning. It's 5 a.m. Mester Scrum. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Monday. Um, we're here to talk about Agile and Scrum, and I got my weights. This is a terrible exercise, right? And it's a little weight. It's only 5 pounds, right? But that's what my kid was using the other day. He's like, I'm doing this 5 pounds, and he's, he's 6, so he's like working out muscles. Anyway, and we'll talk about why I brought that up in a second when we hit our leader. Discussion there. Collar looks terrible. Anyway, it's episode number 70. Greg Mester, your Agile coach and Scrum Master, who's talking about stuff, and I'm looking up there because I can hear a little pitter patter of feet. So the warning is there may be a visitor here in a little bit. It is like 6:05, a little bit after 6. I'm just looking at my emails. That's the worst thing. I'm playing. Start looking at emails, you don't get to do the stuff you're supposed to do. Anyway, so I want to talk about a couple of things today. I want to hit the leadership thing, and as more and more I talk about leadership, just what I see, what's good, what's bad, and we'll go from there. So first thing I want to talk about is an Agile item, which I think you've all seen. Well, you know what? I'll do the business stuff first. Let's do the Agile leadership first, and then we'll come back and I'll talk about my item today for about Scrum, more specifically down to the meat of the product thing. And I'm talking about this because I got to do a leader class. I'm just throwing some stuff out there. One of the things in the Agile activity we have to be careful of as a leadership is that we don't let our Agile teams become a mass production engine. The idea is not about being mass production. That should naturally occur, the ability to produce more. But to manage it in such a way that it is a mass production engine, like you go from sprint to sprint to sprint to sprint to sprint, and there's no gap, no let up, and it's just constant work and churn, is not what Agile leadership is about. Agile leadership is not about producing all this product. It's really about customer value, increasing customer value, ensuring that we're meeting information to the customer. So from an Agile leadership perspective, just wanted to throw that out, that it's about, providing customer value, not so much code. Old school was how many lines of code you're going to write. Let's measure you that you write enough lines of code. Well, if you wanted that, I'll put a million comment lines in there and I'll have lots of lines of code. Doesn't mean it's any good, right? So from an Agile leadership perspective, you want to make sure that make sure teams understand that you don't want more stuff because they spent more hours in it. You want more stuff because they got more creative, made it easier to maintain for the long haul, and produce customer value. You want good quality stuff that when you start coding that on the other side, it can be delivered and in the customer's hand to get feedback. So that's just one thing. I just wanted to emphasize that, good Agile leadership really emphasizes that it is not a machine for producing product. I've seen a few companies where they would actually, every so many sprints, would actually take a week off, not take a week off, but they would break the cycle of just producing these features and take a week and have the teams develop something new, do like a coding competition or a coding fest or a new idea, a bright idea fest where people would go off and come up with new ideas that just what they thought the product would do. And you give them a chance and some funding and some time, like a whole week of work to produce whatever they wanted to, right? And maybe it has value, maybe it doesn't. It's not really a big deal, but it breaks up that coding engine, that mass production engine mentality. And providing that as a leadership to your teams is very important. So you really want to get to the point where you're doing that for your teams, right? So But that's what I just want to talk about coding leadership. Just not leading your team into becoming a mass production engine cycle, but something like that. Now, and that's what I want to talk about there. So this is 5am Mester Scrum. We just talked about leadership. Now I want to talk about one of the metric tools you have and everything. Eddie, you coming? Here comes the boy. I don't know. Are you gonna say hi to everybody?
Hi.
There he is. Say hi, Ed. Wait. Hi. Okay. Thanks, Ed.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, Ed.
Have a good day. Don't cry.
Don't cry. What's with the crying thing? I don't know why.
And make sure you get a thumbs up and ring the bell.
Thumbs up, ring the bell. Got that, everybody? Thumbs up, ring the bell. So, he's a YouTube guy.
If you don't know where the bell is all the way down there.
It's down there?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Ed.
And that's it.
Okay. So here at 5am Mester Scrum, we have visitors every once in a while. I want to not up at 5 a.m. Okay. And that's why I gotta get up at 5 a.m. We get visitors. Anyway, all right. So I just want to talk about the burn down chart because I was looking at some old stuff and what people show, and everybody wants to analyze these things. And for our podcast people, I'm just going to draw a burn down chart. You got a vertical line, right? That's a terrible, and a horizontal line, right? And I was watching what's planned and what's not planned. And as a program manager or project manager for 30 some odd years, when people say it's planned, I'm like, no. The burn down chart is not a planning chart. It has nothing to do with planning whatsoever. It is not. So I'm just going to pick a number. I'm going to say, let's say at the beginning of the sprint, the team says they can do 30 points worth of work. And you can do hours and you can do however you want to measure it. Let's just say 30 points, 30. So I'm on the vertical, I'm writing 30 at the top, okay? And then it's how many, let's just say it's 10 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, 10 days. And the line in the end got closer. Sorry about that. And what they do is they take a line from the last day to the 30 days, and it's a straight line, right? See that, right? That's as much planning as in a burn down chart. There is no planning. It's just a snap line from the 30 on the 0 point on the graph down to the 10-point day on the X graphic and at 0 points. That's it. There is no plan, okay? All it does is give you a visual reference for that you want stuff to go down. So in reality, this isn't real. So then no one tells you that, but in reality, this isn't real. From a program management standpoint, project, there's no planning involved whatsoever. It's a directional visual cue. So and there is no planning in this chart at all. If you think about it, there's no planning. So let's say I'm into it, and first 2 days, I don't get any. Here's the second day. First 2 days, nothing happens. Then, because I did some testing, I spent a day testing or just coding halfway and finished some stuff, and maybe I got like a couple points done. All right, so the points are going to come down, and then maybe I spend another day, and maybe I get a couple more points. Maybe I spend another day, and I get 1 point. Maybe I spend 3 days, get a couple points. Maybe I come down a lot. Maybe I come over, down, right? So you get this little staircase looking thing, right? When you're underneath there, that's great because that means you're ahead of schedule. You might work, but problem is just because you get below that doesn't mean you're going to stay below that, and you might come back, as I drew on the line where the stair actually crossed that little straight line drop line again, right? Now remember, this is just fake, right? And this isn't really planned. This is just work they did, and it records the actuals. Recording actual is not planning, right? So there is no planning whatsoever in the burn down chart. All it does is give you an idea that you're heading down. Because what you don't want, and as I drew this thing for the pod pit, I basically drew a stair. First couple of days, it was above the line. Then I got a day below the line. Then I hit the line. Then it was above the line again, and so on. Then we kind of go back and forth across the line for the burn down graphic. But it's just a visual cue that you're going down. Let's say I have another team, and here's what some teams do from the waterfall world, and they don't understand about making stories smaller, right? Now, ideally, I have this line, and I'm going to go early today. I want to make sure we're under 15. So just one other thing on the line. So I got the line. I snapped the line, which again is not a real line, not a plan. It's just a line. The smaller your stories, the more this line will go like this, right? Because if they're all 1-point stories, theoretically, you're getting one story done every day. So if they're all 1 point, so let's say let's do this math real quick. And I drew on here a little lines going across. It'd be interesting. Let's say you had 30 points in a sprint and you wanted to recreate this line and be as close as possible going down. And let's say every story was a point. So if every story was a point, and you have 10 of these, right? You have 10. That means in order to meet this line, you need to do 3 points a day, right? Yeah, 3 points a day. So we had 30 points. Oops. 30 points divided by 10 days, which is a 2-week sprint, right? Equals 3 points per day. So in order to meet this line that's here, you have to complete 3 points per day. Some days you do, some days you don't. But every day, in order to recreate this line and be like that little stair step going down the way I just wrote it, you would have to do 3 points a day. It's kind of, I don't know a lot of teams that actually do that. Some of the more mature teams do because they really get that 1 point small story concept working pretty well. But you would have to do, so if you had 30 points and you had 10 days, means in order to get that graph to be down to 0 and mimic that straight line, you would have to do 3 points, get 3 points closed per day. Okay. It's a lot of work, and it's pretty good. What I see in most of the teams, and you'll see, is just goes all the way across. It's about, and then the last couple of days it comes down, right? It looks like a giant waterfall, right? We're going across, and then crashing down the last couple of days. This kills your testers, poor testers. You get down to the last 3 days, and the testers are out there. Can you test all the work we just coded and do it done in 2 days? Well, that's bad, right? What do you want is you want this, the way you look at things, you want, and I drew a little line, we got this giant waterfall the last couple of days. What you want your teams to start doing, and you want to see progress, is this waterfall comes back in, and maybe later on, it looks like this. Sooner or later, you want it to get down like that, where it's still above the line, right? But things are getting done earlier and things are getting tested earlier. To at some point, you're down like that. Now you're getting closer to the line, right? And then when you really know you're getting good is when you start implementing stuff. And when this line gets, and you get done earlier, right? That means you could do more points. So when this line starts ending here before the end of the 10-day cycle, when you start ending here, that means you have time to increase your velocity. But until you start, and here's one last point, because it's at the 15-minute mark. When you know that this burn down is now starting to get below this line is when you talk about the team adding more points to your sprint. How about that? So that's something they don't tell you in the book, right? So once your team starts getting below this line consistently, then you ask the team, are we up for putting more points on the sprint? So anyway, so we talked about it. It's not a plan thing. There is no planning at all with the burn down chart. So when people tell me that, I just cringe because technically there is no planning whatsoever in a burn down chart. It's just a statement of fact and where you are, and it gives you an idea that you are heading in the right direction, but there's no planning in that. So 5am Mester Scrum, it is now about 6:22. Thanks for coming on board. Please like and subscribe and hit the bell, right, Ed? Hit the bell. Do our thumbs up. Get the little thumbs up. And we'll talk more about different Agile concepts, but I just wanted to explain the burn down chart because I always hear people, it's a plan. It's like, no, it's not a plan because you're not doing any planning with that chart. It's all visual reference. But that's it. It's Monday. You guys all have a happy day. Enjoy your day. Happy scrumming. Okay, Eddie.
And do not get bullied too.
Don't get bullied. Eddie says no bullying. Don't let yourself get bullied. Okay. And you all have an awesome day. It's Monday. Enjoy your week. Remember, bring up your thing with your people. What fun things you do over the weekend. What fun things you got planned next. Any blockers are having fun. So that they plan out some fun as they go too. All right. Thumbs up. Thank you very much. Ring the little bell. 5am Mester Scrum. Please like and subscribe. And take care. Bye. See ya. Bye.